Grace, whatever am I going to do? There are so many creditors and so little money. Business at the boarding house has been so slow. My bank account has a room upstairs. But alas, my only boarders are Mild-Man and Mortimer, the town mortician, and Beulah May Forbush, who borders on being deaf. Oh, good morning, Beulah May. I didn't see you sitting there.
Why, of course I'm not spitting hair, or anything else for that matter, girl. I ain't spat since I got these here false teeth. One good spit, and they're just like my niece Batemel without her corset, all over the place. Heck.
That's a very good story, Beulah May, but I said I didn't see you sitting there.
Oh, you mean sitting here? Well, tarnation, why didn't you say so? I'm trying to finish this comforter for my great Aunt Flora. I heard the other day she's in bed with a cold.
Where did you hear that?
From the boy at the telegraph office. He read me the telegram because I couldn't find my glasses.
Beulah May, I read the telegram and it said your great Aunt Flora was dead and cold, not in bed with the cold.
But you don't say. Then why'd she need this her comforter? Wouldn't do her no good now.
I'm afraid not.
I guess I'll make a sweater for Mortimer.
Oh, Beulah May, our very existence here is hanging by a thread. By a thread, I say. How can you sit there so calmly knitting row after row after row?
There ain't no kitten after my toe, girl. What's the matter with you? You lost any bit of sense the good Lord may have poured in that poor head of yours?
Knitting, Beulah May, row after row after row.
Of course I'm knitting, girl. Are you blind?
Tell me, girls, did you have any luck? Please tell me that you have good news. I don't know if I could survive if I was to hear warmer, more self-distressing news. Please, girls, tell me something that would make my day.
Nobody would want to take your pay, Beatrice. Wouldn't be worth the effort.
Butt up, Beulah.
Why, Beatrice? Did I hear you correctly?
Most likely not.
It breaks my heart, Beatrice, but we've been all over Goodell, and there just ain't nobody looking for to rent a room. I'm afraid Beulah and Mortimer are all the boarders where we're gonna get.
Whatever are we gonna do? If business don't pick up soon, Beatrice's boarding house will have to close its doors. Forever, it will be 3 girls out in the town without a home.
Don't give up, dear Beatrice. Perhaps there'll be someone on the afternoon stage. Adelaide and I will get right down there to meet it, won't we?
Oh, whatever would I do without my 2 best friends? I feel like they're the sisters I never had. Why, they sure do cheer me up and keep my chin off the ground. It tends to get a mite chopped.
Yes, Augusta certainly does have a chin of a hound. Poor girl.
Beulah May, don't you ever say such thing about my dear Augusta. Why, she's the kindest, most noble friend anyone can ever ask for. But alas, I'm afraid she will lose to a muffin to the beauty contest.
It must have been a sad day for their ma when them twins was born. Adelaide and ugly Augusta.
Beulah May, you're trying my patience and exceptionally goodwill. If I didn't need you as a boarder, you'll be out on your ear.
You're right. It must have been a mighty bad year.
Oh, Beulah May.
I rang, but nobody answered the bell.
I don't care how hard it's raining. We'll have no profanity in here. Who let you in anyway?
I didn't expect to see you here. I thought this place would be closed down by now, seeing how poor Miss Beatrice is strapped for cash.
Why, Miss Beatrice would never do a thing like that for money, no matter how bad she needed the cash.
I said strapped, Mrs. Forbush. Strapped.
Hello there, Mr. Sweat. I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man. And Miss Beatrice wouldn't put us out, no way. Well, I haven't laid a soda rest in a month of Sundays, but still she lets me stay on.
Sounds as if the undertaking business is falling on hard times as well.
Nothing but slim pickings.
Too bad. He was my favorite Western singer. Now, if one of you could see your way to telling Miss Beatrice I've come to call, I'd be most grateful.
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man. And I'm sure that she has no hankering to pass the afternoon in your company.
These boarding house boarders are all alike. No appreciation for those of us with superior intellect and station. But I've come to unselfishly bring an end to her financial misery.
Why, that's mighty neighborly of you, Luther, to bring us some shellfish for our supper.
I said selfish. I mean unselfish. Mrs. Forbush, if you'd be so kind.
Miss Beatrice, come quickly.
Now, Mrs. Forbush, if you please excuse us.
By Luther Sweat, there ain't no excuse for the likes of you.
Please, Beulah May. Well, Mr. Sweat, how may I help you?
My dear Miss Goodale, may I call you Beatrice?
No, you may not. I hardly feel after all that has happened that we are still on a first name basis.
Are you still upset about that minor misunderstanding?
Come now, Mr. Sweat. I do not find it a minor misunderstanding that you should be named in my poor father's will as beneficiary of all his holdings.
But my dear,
I am not your dear lad. I am no one's dear.
I've tried to explain to you before that as your father's closest friend and business partner, that it was in your best interest that he leave the business dealings to me. It was his expressed desire that I look after you when he was gone.
I just don't understand how you ever convinced him to change his will, and why he did not tell me he had made such arrangements. How did you get him to change his will?
My dear, it was no sweat. But on to the business at hand. I understand you are presently in financial difficulties, and I am ready. I can hardly wait. Willing to take her hand in her boarding house, to assume your debts, and to take this miserable piece of real estate off your hands.
Mr. Luther Sweat, it is only by the finger of fate that I'm owning this boarding house. My dear mama left this building to me in her will, and only your documents of said ignorance will keep this from falling into your hands as well. I will never give up my boarding house.
Curses, if only I knew about her mother's will. But my dear, you must be reasonable. Your creditors will not let many more days pass without payment. And you're mistaken if you think if you think I want you to sell me this boarding house.
Do you mean you give me a loan?
Neither borrower nor lender be. I read that somewhere. But Beatrice, you must know how deep my affections are for you. Marry me and your financial worries would be over.
Egad, that's not all we be over. What a dilemma. On the one hand, I have no money. On the other hand, his money is really my father's money. On the other hand, I loathe Mr. Sweat. On the other hand, if I don't pay the bills, Officer Adelaide will be evicted from his premises. Oh my, I seem to be out of hands. Mr. Luther Sweat, I must have time to weigh and consider this most distasteful matter. If I were to accept your offer, I must be reassured that Augusta and Adelaide will be taken care of.
It would be my pleasure to take care of them. I would consider it my duty.
They're just like my sisters, you know. Pa taking these poor dear girls shortly after Ma died. May she rest in peace. If she can rest in peace, how can she rest in peace when her daughter is in the throes of poverty and
Beatrice, when will I have your answer?
Well, perhaps tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Or maybe the day after tomorrow, or...
Till tomorrow, my Beatrice. Ugliest woman on the face of the earth.
What is that low-down sidewind snake in the grass doing here?
Gusta, sometimes your language astounds me. Well, not astounds me, more like surprises me or catches me off guard. Or no, it's more that just because it's not ladylike.
Please, Beatrice, what did he want?
Please, tell me, was there anyone on the afternoon stage?
Oh, Beatrice, things will look better tomorrow.
Tomorrow? My dear friends, tomorrow has come to an end. Today. Please call Beulah Mayor and Mortimer to the parlor. I must speak to you all.
Adelaide, please fetch them here while I speak with Miss Beatrice alone. Miss Beatrice, I hope you have not made any rash decisions which may leave us in a ticklish position.
Augusta, a woman's gotta do what a woman's gotta do. If only I knew how that Luther Sweat changed my father's will. I'm sure my father is positive that he would never want to leave me in the clutches of one such as that Luther Sweat.
Something stinks here in Goodell, and I'm sure it's that Luther Sweat.
We need a bunch of sheep, Adelaide. We know the way to the parlor.
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a man. And I detect foul business in the air.
Thanks, Adelaide. Will everybody please take a seat? No, please sit down. Now, you are all aware in the financial situation in which we find ourselves. There just isn't enough income for me to pay off my creditors and keep Beatrice's boarding house open. I don't know how much longer I can keep those roofs at bay.
Darn right, Missy, you should make those other folks pay. Why, seeing how I'm the only one in longer than anyone can remember who's paid any room and board, you should make these freeloaders come up with some idea.
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man. But I resent your implications that I'm a freeloader. My work is what you might call seasonal. I can't help it that no one has had the courtesy to give up their mortal existence so that I might pay my room and board.
It's not my fault it's off-season and you're bored.
That's enough out of you two. Miss Beatrice asked us here to tell us something important. Now let's lend her an ear.
That's about all you can afford to lend her.
It would seem that our creditors are tired of waiting. We'll be in the street in a matter of days.
If you've been on your feet for days, why don't you sit down and take a load off?
The street Beulah maid will be out on the street.
I beg your pardon, I am not that type of woman.
If only your pa hadn't left all his worldly wealth to that low-life Luther Sweat, we could all live here in peace.
We had peas last night, Beatrice. Let's have something else.
I feel that I am responsible for this situation. And I'm here to tell you that your troubles are over, and mine are just beginning. Mr. Luther Sweat has come and asked for my hand in marriage.
That's a smelly proposition.
I know, but if I were to accept his proposal, he will take care of my financial obligations. My boarding house will be saved.
Yay?
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man. And I wouldn't want you to sacrifice yourself on my behalf, Miss Beatrice. Why, Luther Sweat is a cad, a scoundrel, a cheat. He can run for public office.
Miss Beatrice, we promised your father we would stay by you, come thick or thin, and help to look after you. We won't let you marry that man unless... Tell me, Miss Beatrice, do you love Sweat?
Ah, nobody loves sweat. It stains your clothes.
My dear friends, my dear Gustav, my dear Adelaide, it would seem that I have no choice. My hands are tied. Yet how can I give my hands to this man, tied or not, when I know somewhere, somehow, my heart must belong to another. But alas, there is no other, and I must meet my fate.
You're right. We must eat. It's late.
Oh, what am I to do?
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man. But perhaps if we put our heads together, we could come up with an idea to get ourselves out of this muddle mess. I'm mainly a mortician, but I think I have a marvelous master plan. It will be called Beatrice's Bed and Breakfast. Instead of being just a boarding house, it could be an establishment for the folks in town to get away for the night and enjoy real home cooking for breakfast.
You're on the right track, but that would never work. What is it, Adelaide? Do you have an idea? We're saved! It's Beatrice's Broadway and brunch. Beulah May could fix the brunch and the rest of us could perform and entertain the guests. While with her home cooking and our talents, the creditors will be paid off in no time.
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man. And oh, perhaps we should tell Miss Beatrice the good news.
squad about mix and pace. Can't figure why they got me doing such. You about done from here, Augusta? I think Adelaide can use some help with them costumes.
Just finished. My, how you coming? Oh, girl. Sure looks tasty.
It ought to look pasty. I've been working on it all morning. I think it could stick hair to a bald man's head.
Well, if it isn't the bells of Miss Beatrice's boarding house. If I may speak to Miss Beatrice herself.
With respect, that we have time for the likes of you. Miss Beatrice's Broadway and brunch is scheduled to open any time now.
But I have come to save Miss Beatrice from demeaning herself in such a manner. I have other plans for demeaning her, if you would be so kind.
You have no business here, Sweat. Leave us be.
But there's no business like show business. I've come to offer my services.
We don't need your services. Now off with you.
This is open to the public, and I will attend if I so choose.
If you must, but keep a low profile, sir. And Luther, you can come, you can pay, but never, never let them see you sweat.
Mr. Luther Sweat, I will come to tell you that I've turned down your most disgusting offer of marriage. We will come up with the money on our own, and unless you have to pay as a paying customer, you may remove yourself from these premises.
Then let me be the first to patronize your newfound establishment.
If in my heart I did not believe that this money was indeed my own, I would throw it in your face. Why did Beulah May put this stuff in a bowl? A woman needs more than a hearing aid.
Hey, you ready? On behalf of Beatrice's boarding house, we welcome you to Broadway and brunch.
Gotta get it. Gotta get it. Gotta get it. Gotta get it.
face, girl.
Paste? You served our guest paste?
Did just what you said, Beatrice. Mix it up nice, thick, and tasty.
It was tasty, Beulah May. Mix up something nice and tasty. We're ruined. We spent every last cent on costume and decorations. Your life isn't worse.
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man, Miss Beatrice. But after the brunch we served today, I'm sure to have a heap of business if you could hold off your creditors for another day or two.
I'm afraid they won't wait. I foresaw such a dismal end to this little enterprise of yours. So I took the liberty of wiring Judge Obadiah Colvin to come and perform our wedding. He'll be here on the afternoon stage. You can have the wedding tonight.
Very well, Luther Sweat. You have won. Oh, what was me? To never have tasted love's first kiss, and to have my first kiss wet.
I'm mainly a mortician, but mostly a mild-mannered man, and I would be honored to give away the bride. Mr. Sweat, could I measure you for some clothes befitting such an occasion?
Unhand me, you morbid creature. Take this addle-brained Adelaide and meet the stage. Judge Colvin will need directions to the boarding house. Until this evening.
The decorations we have can do for the wedding. Perhaps I'll have something in my wardrobe suitable for this sad, sad day.
Oh, my poor Beatrice. How can I let her go into the arms of that scoundrel, that blackguard, that... If only I could find the real Will.
What are you carrying on about?
The Will, the Will. If I could just get my hands on that Will.
I don't have a bill on hand right now, not even a nickel.
Will, Beulah May? Mr. Goodall's Will! Oh!
Why didn't you say so? It's right here in my knitting bag. I've been hanging on to it for Mr. Goodall since... Since he...
Oh, no matter.
I've been waiting for somebody to ask me for it.
I'm asking for it. I'm asking for it. That's good, Jake. Good. I've got to get to Judge Colvin and have him authenticate the will.
So good of you to come on such short notice, Judge Colvin.
No problem, Mr. Swat.
That's sweat, Judge. Sweat.
Oh, no need to sweat. I'm sure it's just prenuptial jitters. Now, if everyone is ready, I'd like to get started. I want to make the evening stage on.
We're all ready. Play the wedding march, Beulah May. The wedding march.
It ain't March Luther, really July.
Play the music, Beulah May.
It's not quite what I
Luther Sweat?
No, sir, I perspire.
Luther Sweat, do you take Beatrice Goodale to be your lawful wedded wife?
Don't sweat!
I'm trying not to, but I'm sure it's a hot one today.
Judge Govan, you must stop the sweating. I have the real will of Mr. Goodell, which names Miss Beatrice Goodell as the sole heir of all his worldly possessions. Luther Sweat falsified a will to make himself heir. There's no need for Miss Beatrice to marry this scum.
Sure enough says right here, I do bequeath all my holdings, my company, and my money to my dearest, young, lovely, and sometimes long-winded Beatrice, to use to take care of Beatrice, the Adelbrand Adelaide, and administered by one Justice Wood.
Justice Worthy? Who is that?
It is I. It is I. I'm Adelaide's twin brother, Justice. I was hired by Mr. Goodell shortly after the death of his wife to keep an eye on his dishonest partner, Luther Sweat.
In the end, right is might.
Why, Augusta, or should I say Justice? Why, I always had this special feeling for you.
And I for you. And I for you. But it wasn't until now that I could reveal my true self, Justice Worthy.
Oh, Justice.